Looking at sleep in children, a key question that can arise while you're helping a patient who has a child is the question, what is the optimum number of hours that my child should be sleeping, my infant or my child should be sleeping? And in this presentation, we're just going to have a quick look. There's not a real answer to the question, but we're just going to have a bit of a look at the research and what you could recommend. So although sleep recommendations are given by numerous governmental bodies and experts, it is not clear where these recommendations are coming from, or indeed how we could actually personalize these recommendations. Is there a general sleep requirement for all infants and for all children, for example, or are there certain requirements or a certain individual components or characteristics that would modify the sleep requirement? Now, a recent review approached the subject from the perspective that as sleep almost becomes a medicine, there is a need to define a dosage, and therefore what is the dosage of sleep that a practitioner would prescribe. So reviewing the literature, they actually found that there was no definite evidence behind the expert recommendations, and an analysis of the literature suggests that there has yet been no clear optimal sleep study which demonstrates a particular sleep duration that contributes the most benefit, the maximal benefit, or which exists at a trade-off between increasing and decreasing benefits. And you can see basically that highlighted in the slide here, where you've got, as you sleep more, you have benefits, and as you sleep even more, the benefits decrease, whether there's some sort of local optimum that can occur, or if there's some sort of time when you sleep 8 hours, 9 hours, and then once you reach 10, 11, 12 hours, you reach the same benefits as if you'd slept 9 hours. If there's sort of like a threshold of sleep where no future benefits can be expected. Or alternatively, if there are increasing benefits and decreasing benefits as you sleep, such that at a particular hour of sleep, you have this optimal trade-off between benefits and disadvantages of sleeping. So furthermore, the situation is complicated by these inter-individual and even intra-individual changes. Different cultures have been found to need less sleep, and what you do in a day is obviously going to influence the sleep that you require. So this leaves us practitioners in a really hard situation, because you've got a patient asking you, how much should my child be sleeping? I guess the questions at this stage can't really possibly be answered. There's just too many unknowns. And so perhaps the best thing about knowing this paucity of data is that we cannot be expected to know an accurate answer, but rather can relate the advice of these experts or other government bodies, or else rely on our own or others' clinical experience. So as far as recommendations are concerned, the Australian recommendations are probably a really great place to start. And I've got these listed here that of a primary school age, you're looking at 9 to 10 hours, teenagers 9 to 10 hours, and adults around 8 hours of sleep. Now, a variety of other studies and international associations and institutes have also found varying amounts of sleeps are required, and I've listed these in the next 3 slides so that you can have a look through and see what the recommendations have been. And you can download the presentation notes, where you can actually flick through and have a look at all these recommendations just below the presentation. So what do you recommend? The best bet is probably to explain that there is no exact answer to the question as yet, but that various expert government and institutes recommend around 9 to 10 hours per night for children, and sometimes much longer for infants, up to 15, 18 hours for infants. Explain that variability can occur within the child depending on their activities that day. At the least, ask the child how they're feeling. Are they sleepy? There will be differences where sometimes people feel more sleepy than perhaps they need as much sleep, but do be directed, at least in part, by how the child is actually feeling. But probably most importantly, ensure there is regularity in the sleep duration and the bedtimes to avoid circadian misalignment.